Back in 1849, archaeologists opened a library that would rewrite human history. They found thousands of clay tablets in Nineveh from a civilization called Sumer, the oldest known civilization on Earth. And what these tablets described still sparks debate today. A story about visitors from another world, advanced beings, human creation itself. Today we're going through the actual cuneiform translations, not the TV version. Not the ancient aliens version, the real texts, and what they say will challenge everything you thought you knew. The Sumerians gave us writing, mathematics, the 360-degree circle, the 60-minute hour, all of it from one place, Mesopotamia, around 4000 BCE. Their creation myth isn't from one tablet, it's from hundreds, translated by multiple scholars over 150 years. The Enuma Elish, the Epic of Gilgamesh, the Atrahasis. These aren't stories, they're recorded history. At least that's what the Sumerians believed. I'm not here to sell you aliens or ancient astronauts. I'm here to show you exactly what these texts say, what scholars agree on. And where the mainstream explanations stop making sense. Here's the core story from the Atrahasis epic. The Anunnaki arrived roughly 450,000 years ago from a planet called Nibiru. Nibiru has an elongated orbit, 36.0 Earth years. That's what the tablets say. They landed in the Persian Gulf at a site called Eridu. Archaeological surveys confirm this. Eridu is the oldest permanently inhabited city on Earth, dated to 54.0 BCE. Why there, why then? The tablets are explicit. They needed gold, not for money, not for decoration. Their atmosphere was dying. They needed gold particles to reflect radiation and keep their planet habitable. So they mined, but the labor was too hard. They couldn't do it themselves, so they created a worker. They took a primitive hominid, called it Adamu, crossbred with their own DNA, implanted their genetic material, created Homo sapiens as a worker species. The word Adam literally comes from this. The Old Testament is a condensed version of much older Sumerian texts. That's not my theory. That's what comparative linguists have been saying since the 1800s. Before we go further, we need to separate two things that often get mixed together: what is written on the tablets, and what later researchers believe those writings mean. The word Anunnaki appears throughout Mesopotamian literature, but its interpretation changes depending on the period and the text. Some tablets describe them as divine beings, others as judges of the underworld, others as offspring of Anu, the sky god. This matters, because when modern researchers claim the Anunnaki were extraterrestrials, they're building a theory from multiple texts rather than pointing to a single tablet that literally says, "We came from another planet." The mystery isn't that the tablets exist. The mystery is why so many different cultures preserve similar stories about beings descending from the heavens and bringing knowledge to humanity. Were they gods, kings, visitors, symbols? The tablets leave that question open. Now here's what makes historians uncomfortable. The Sumerians had accurate planetary knowledge. In 22.0 BCE, they knew about Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, planets we didn't discover until 1781, 1846, and 1930. They drew them, named them, gave orbital descriptions. Modern translators initially dismissed these as gods with random attributes until telescopic astronomy caught up. The Sumerian map of the solar system isn't mythological, it's mathematically precise. The explanation from mainstream academia is that they got lucky with guesses. Does that hold up when you look at the actual cuneiform tablets side by side with modern orbital data? No, it doesn't. The Sumerians also described the asteroid belt as a broken planet, which is exactly what modern astrophysics now believes happened. This isn't coincidence, this is recorded observation. Gold is unique, the only metal on Earth that does not corrode, does not interact with other elements, and can be worked at near atomic levels. Modern nanotechnology uses gold particles for radiation shielding and medical imaging. The Anunnaki tablets say they needed gold for atmospheric repair. Coincidence? Maybe, but look at the mines. 5,000-year-old gold mines across 3 continents: South Africa, Egypt, the Andes. Production volumes that make zero sense for the populations and tools available at the time. The most productive ancient gold mine was in Egypt's eastern desert, 25.0 BCE. The scale of extraction would require roughly 100,000 workers operating 300 days a year. Where did they get that labor? The Sumerian answer: they created the workers. One of the most fascinating discoveries from Mesopotamia isn't the Anunnaki, it's the flood. The Atrahasis epic and the Epic of Gilgamesh both describe a catastrophic flood sent to wipe out humanity. A chosen survivor is warned in advance. He builds a massive vessel. He preserves life. The waters arrive. Civilization resets. Sound familiar? The similarities between these accounts and Noah's Ark are impossible to ignore. The Mesopotamian versions predate the earliest biblical manuscripts by centuries. Did multiple cultures preserve memories of the same real event, or were later traditions influenced by earlier Mesopotamian stories? Either answer is historically significant. Either way, these tablets changed how historians understand the origins of some of humanity's most influential narratives. So why doesn't academia take this seriously? Because it destroys the standard model of human history, the slow, gradual evolution from hunting and gathering to civilization. The archaeological record shows something else. Civilization appearing in Mesopotamia around 4000 BCE with full writing, mathematics, engineering, astronomy and law. All at once, no precursors, no slow build, just there. That doesn't fit the narrative that human intelligence developed naturally over tens of thousands of years. So the Sumerian evidence gets ignored, or labeled mythology, while every other ancient text is treated as history. Look at the double standard. Homer's Iliad was considered fiction until Heinrich Schliemann excavated Troy in 1873. The Bible was considered allegory until archaeology confirmed the Hittites' Jericho and King David. The Sumerian tablets are next. I know this is uncomfortable. The version of human origins you grew up with, slow evolution, accidental discovery, is not what the oldest written documents on Earth actually say. Whether Nibiru is a planet, a spaceship, or a metaphor doesn't change the core fact. A civilization with advanced astronomy, genetic knowledge, and massive industrial infrastructure was recording its own origins in cuneiform 6,000 years ago. And we've had the translations for over 150 years. Here's what's certain. Sitchin and Kramer translated these texts independently. Andrew George and Stephanie Daly reached similar conclusions on many points. But many Assyriologists dispute Sitchin's specific interpretations. This debate is real. The evidence is there. Draw your own conclusions if you want the actual tablet. Translations, the peer-reviewed comparisons, and the full breakdown of Nibiru's orbit mathematics. Hit subscribe. I'm going through every single tablet series over the next 3 videos. And before you leave, answer this in the comments. If a civilization 6,000 years ago possessed knowledge that appears impossible for its time, what is more likely? That we are misunderstanding the evidence, or that history is far older and more complex than we currently believe? Keep the discussion respectful, challenge ideas, challenge assumptions, but follow the evidence wherever it leads, because the deeper you go into the tablets, the stranger the story becomes.